Kevin Franke is possibly doing evidence tampering on behalf of him and Jodi to get him out of allegations, and it's way crazier and way darker than what you think. Guys, make sure and click the plus sign. I'm going to keep you up to date with all this. Sound off in the comments. I want you to tell me what you think. But if you've been following this case, then you know yesterday, Kevin's lawyer put out an interview with Law and Crime where he specifically talked about that there's a broken door with tape on it, and it's weird. So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight and then go into this and tell you exactly what I think is happening here. This will be a shorter video, I think. So he says first, well, there's tape on the door because the door was broken down. Somebody broke in. I mean, they didn't break in. I mean, I don't know. Kevin doesn't know. We don't really know the situation. Kevin hasn't been there for 13 months. And then when asked again about it, they asked, did anybody take anything? Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, the kids were there for a while, but Kevin wasn't there, and somebody broke the door down. It could have been the family, but why would they do that? But somebody broke in. I mean, the door is broken down, and the door is broken down, somebody broke in. Or they didn't. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. To anybody who was watching this, we're all going, what is this? Well, then it goes a little bit further when they say, did anybody take anything? And his situation, he says, well, not that we know of. We don't know. Some papers. Then we know the cellmate who spoke up said, and I called this back then, the cellmate who spoke up with Ruby said that Kevin and Ruby, when they were speaking, which apparently they're not speaking now, were very, very, very concerned about flood damage, and she wanted him to find money that was hidden in the house. And the money is gone. And we don't know what flood damage means. Many of us think that's code for getting rid of evidence. First of all, with as wealthy as you two people were, at one point you're telling me you had random money not only hidden around your house, but you would go leave for weeks at a time having that random money places, and money's missing, but Kevin didn't file any police reports on that. And you could say, well, this is just a cellmate, we haven't confirmed it and whatever, and I get that. However, this cellmate has been proven to be true so far. She knew. She was the one who said Ruby was very concerned about Russell being around any of the other kids before she made the SA claims. So I'm going to say there's a little more validity to what this cellmate says, because so far on such a huge thing, she was proven right on something that none of us knew. One theory people are having about this interview is that this is clear signs of evidence tampering, that Kevin went through and a big sweep of the house, and this is just part of covering the tracks, that, oh, some stuff is missing, or some papers are missing, because maybe those are some papers, or those are some things or evidence that would basically put them away. Now, there are some back and forth reports, and we don't yet know what the situation is. Some people are saying that the cops said that they kicked in the door, which is all well and good. However, if you heard that interview, he said kick down the door again, and then caught himself and said, good catch. But he still says there's some papers missing. So are we having a setup right now for a cover-up situation so that they're covering their tracks? But there's one more thing. Is it possible this is being put out there because we know that they want this trial private? We know all sides, except for the prosecutors, want this trial private. And they keep saying it's for the privacy of the children. I'm sorry. Those children were exploited as slaves, as working slaves for the house and for the entertainment industry for years, with what I understand is little to no pay. I bet there are no bank accounts set up for those children to get them any funds. Do not believe one bit they care about their children's privacy. What I do think is happening, and I've said this before, I think, because we know Jodi's MO is to say everybody is an essayer. She's done this to countless clients, countless men. She just now did it to children. And here's what I'm wondering, and this is why a lot of people still haven't spoken up about Ruby and Jodi, well, specifically Jodi, and what I think we might be hearing. I think we're going to hear more and more people speak up, not just on how horrible she was as a counselor and what she did their marriages, but that she called essay on them, and I'm wondering if that's why Kevin left and Kevin cut off all contact. I don't think it's necessarily as much that he wanted to, get his family back. I'm sure he didn't want to be away from them. I'm sure he did want to get them back, but to not just cut off contact, he blocked his children. Shari tried to reach out when she was raising the alarm and concerns. He blocked her. So what? She sends a text messages and says, hey, the kids are in trouble. We need your help. Emergency. And he blocks them? Or is it because SA allegations are on him? He doesn't want that coming out. He's scared because we know Kevin is not the most brave of men. Seems a little bit cowardly, in my opinion. So what's really going on? Is this evidence tampering? Or is this evidence tampering, or are they setting this up because they're trying to say, oh, this is such an unsafe situation, so it needs to be private for the sake of the kids, even though nobody cares about the kids and nobody knows where the kids are. I don't know. What do you think is actually going on here? Or is there other stuff that I'm not even aware of? Tell me your thoughts, guys. Sound off in the comments and then click the plus sign because I've got more coming.